Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse, aka BGFH, and I am back for another VR accessibility video. Just a short little video this time. We're not actually going to be going into any VR games or experiences proper, but what I did want to cover is something I just discovered for a little VR experience through Steam for Deus Ex Mankind Divided, the VR experience. It's just basically it's a short interactive. You can just kind of walk around a few environments that you would recognize if you have played the game proper. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, one of the most recent Deus Ex game that's out there as I'm recording this. But the experience is kind of neat. But what I'm more impressed with is if I double click on this, if I launch this app and it says, okay, let's do this through Steam VR, sure, why not? Now, before we even get into the VR experience, we get a little splash screen here. And more importantly, so we can launch this thing, which we're not going to do, but instead, let me turn magnifier on just so you low vision users can see. We can launch the experience, but looky what we got here. Options. I'm going to click on that. So I did a VR accessibility for low vision users presentation at last year's 2017 ID24 conference. And one of my suggestions was, in fact, to offer some sort of a settings or options screen outside of and prior to launching the VR game or app or experience, whatever you want to call it. And I've never, ever seen anything like this in the apps that I've tested so far, except for this one. I'm going through my Steam library, and I forgot I actually installed this, and I went to check it out and went, oh, wow, look at what we've got here. So look at this. We actually have, just as I had recommended in the presentation, we have some tabs across the top. Now, again, this isn't a hugely detailed thing, so there's not like a lot of extra controls or things that we have to fuss with. It's just kind of a very short, kind of a walkthrough experience, exploratory experience. But we have some general options and graphic options, but again, I could see having things like, general or game options. You could have a specific section for graphics and audio and controls, especially being important for virtual reality. And we have some of that here. We actually have, they have your controls for, you have sliders for how quickly do you want to move. I don't think there's actually teleport controls in this, funny enough, but if you're susceptible to motion sickness, all of these were put way down here. So it was basically like, you're inching forward, so you really didn't get the motion sickness. But for me, I cranked it, way up, and this actually feels pretty comfortable. I could probably even go up a little bit higher, but I mean, this is fine for what the experience was. But I can adjust my movement speed, I can adjust my turning speed. They may want to have, a radio button or checkboxes for, teleport control versus smooth or free movement. You could have, if you're doing free movement, how quickly do you want to move? How quickly do you want to turn? Just like we've got here. Your teleport versus free movement. That would be another thing to have. But yeah, like I know it seems like a small thing. Let me just zoom out here so if you don't have low vision, you can see the whole dialog box as it is. But I just wanted to create this quick video under the VR accessibility playlist for you guys because I finally seen an app that is doing this. I finally saw an app that is offering some VR customization. And because of that, I could use Windows Magnifier as I just did to adjust these settings. I can use any assistive technology that I currently have access to outside of the VR experience. And now, like once I were to go into that app, if I hit OK on this, and then if I went back to, and launched the actual app, the settings would be good, and we would be good. I'd be good to go. I would have my controls the way I set, the graphics the way I wanted them set. It seems like a small thing, but it's something that 99% of apps don't do, and I would love to see this become a standard because, how many times have I talked about how hard it is in a lot of VR apps and experiences and games where, yeah, they might have some of the customization options there. They might have some of the movement and other options available. But if they don't support head tracking for the text interfaces and dialog boxes and whatnot, it's very, very difficult for a low vision user to get at them. So, yeah, just something so simple as having this little dialog box before you launch the game or experience. Kudos to Eidos for actually doing this. That's awesome, and please, I want to see this as a VR standard. That would be fantastic. Even if you just had to right click, whether it was Oculus or Steam or whatever, if I could just right click, I could open the app by clicking on it, but if I right clicked and just had an option for going into options as a standard and just opening up a simple dialog box like that, yes please, yes please. Anyway, that is just all I wanted to cover in this short VR accessibility video. Wanted to give a shout out to the devs of this Deus Ex Mankind Divided VR experience. Thanks a lot for doing that, and I hope if you guys make other VR games and experiences, please do the same thing. That would be fantastic. And other developers, please as well follow. Speaking of following, follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. You can also follow me on Mixer, mixer.com/BGFH. And yeah, I hope you guys liked the video, found it helpful, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys again in the next one. Later.